There is a feeling most of us fear, more than almost anything else. It is the silent, empty space of being alone. We call it loneliness, and we see it as a kind of failure. But what if that's a lie? What if the discomfort you feel in the quiet moments is not about the absence of others, but about the deafening presence of a person you have been trying your entire life to avoid? Yourself. The truth is, you are not afraid of being alone. You are afraid of who you are when no one else is around to distract you. This is one of the most profound and uncomfortable truths of the human condition. Today, we will not offer you cheap comfort. We will offer you a stark and liberating clarity. Guided by the wisdom of the great philosophers of the soul, Søren Kierkegaard and Arthur Schopenhauer, we will explore why this fear exists, what it is trying to tell you, and how you can transform the painful prison of loneliness into the most powerful sanctuary you will ever know, the freedom of your own authentic company. For many of us, the moment the noise stops, the moment the phone goes dark, the party ends, the house goes quiet, an unsettling feeling begins to rise. A quiet panic, a gnawing emptiness. The Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, one of history's deepest explorers of the human soul, saw this feeling not as an emotional flaw, but as a spiritual alarm bell. He called it existential dread. It is the pain that arises when we are forced to confront the vast gap between the person we pretend to be and the person we truly are. All day, we perform. We wear the mask of the good employee, the fun friend, the perfect partner. We are so busy playing a role for the world that we lose connection to our own essence. But in the silence of solitude, there is no one to perform for. The mask begins to crumble, and we are left alone with a terrifying question. When no one is watching, who am I? Think of the person who fills every single evening with social plans. They rush from work to dinner, from dinner to drinks. They are praised for being so popular and social. But the one night their plans are cancelled, they feel an almost unbearable anxiety. The silence of their own apartment feels like a judgment. They are not running towards their friends, they are running from themselves. This, Kierkegaard would say, is the start of the journey. That discomfort is a call to action. It is an invitation from your own soul to stop performing and to begin the courageous and often difficult work of becoming your true self. While Kierkegaard shows us the terrifying problem of our inner emptiness, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer offers us the powerful solution. He was not afraid of solitude. He celebrated it. For him, the ability to be alone was not a sign of weakness, but the ultimate mark of a great and powerful mind. Schopenhauer believed that most social interaction is a draining, superficial performance. We trade our peace for the noise of others, and it is almost always a bad bargain. He famously wrote, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free." A person with a rich inner world, full of thoughts, curiosity, and creativity, does not fear being alone. Their own mind is the most interesting place they can be. They have built an inner fortress of the mind, a sanctuary of peace and strength that does not depend on the chaotic validation of the outside world. Think of someone who, instead of seeking distraction, actively carves out time for themselves. They might spend an evening reading a difficult book, going for a long walk in nature without their phone, or simply sitting in silence, engaging with their own thoughts. They are not being lonely, they are actively cultivating their inner world. They are building their fortress. So why does this emptiness feel so painful? Why is the silence so loud? From a psychological perspective, the void we feel in solitude is the echo of our own self-abandonment. From a young age, we are trained to look outside of ourselves for our worth. We are taught what to want, how to act, and who to be by our parents, our culture, and now, by our social media feeds. We slowly and systematically abandon our own unique, authentic impulses in exchange for acceptance. We learn to perform, but we forget how to feel. This creates a deep disconnect. We build a functional, successful outer self, but our inner self becomes a stranger. Imagine you achieve a major goal you've been working towards for years. Everyone is congratulating you, and you're playing the part of the happy, successful person. But deep down, you feel nothing. The achievement feels hollow. This is the pain of the absent self. The person who achieved the goal was the performer, the mask. But the real you, the one you've been ignoring for years, wasn't there to feel the joy. The emptiness is not an absence of others. It is the absence of you. It is the ghost of your own authentic self, calling you to come back home. How do we begin this journey home? How do we transform the painful prison of loneliness into the peaceful sanctuary of solitude? This is not a magical process. It is a courageous practice. First, you must accept the emptiness. Stop running from it. Stop numbing it with distraction. The American mythologist Joseph Campbell spoke of the hero's journey, which often begins with a descent into the underworld, or the belly of the beast. You must have the courage to descend into your own inner emptiness and just sit with the discomfort, without judgment. Second, you must practice self-listening. This is the art of turning your attention inward. Start a journal. Ask yourself the hard questions. What do I truly want? What am I so afraid of? Why do I keep running? At first, the answers may not come, but the act of asking begins to create a new, sacred relationship with yourself. Third, you must cultivate your inner world. True solitude is not empty. It is full. Fill your inner life with treasures that do not depend on others. Read the great books. Listen to the great music. Learn about art, science, history. Engage with the minds of the greatest people who have ever lived. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said that through reading, we can have a conversation with Socrates and Aristotle every single day. When your mind is filled with these great companions, you are never truly alone. A person who knows how to be alone is not rejecting the world. They are simply no longer dependent on it. They can now enter into relationships not out of a needy desperation to fill their own void, but out of a whole and generous desire to share their own richness. In the end, the fear of loneliness is the fear that our own company is not enough. Kierkegaard showed us that this fear is a spiritual alarm bell, calling us back to our true selves. Schopenhauer showed us that building a rich inner life is the ultimate source of strength and freedom. The journey they both point to is the same. It is the courageous path of turning away from the noisy validation of the crowd and beginning the quiet, difficult, and ultimately beautiful work of building your own inner sanctuary. Stop waiting for the right person to save you from your loneliness. Become the person you have been waiting to meet. The person whose own company is a source of peace, whose own mind is a source of wonder, and whose own heart is a source of unconditional love. When you become that person, you will realize a profound and liberating truth. You were never truly alone. You were always with yourself. And when that companionship is finally enough, you will be truly and unshakably free.